Hey guys, how y'all doing? We're out and about. We had to stand behind a tree because the wind's blowing so hard. I know y'all won't be able to hear us. But I wanted to come on for a minute to talk a little bit about the 1 year anniversary. Today is 1 year anniversary that Texas A&M college student in Corpus Christi, Texas, Caleb Harris, vanished around 3 in the morning. To be found, June 24th, 4 months later, in a pumping station less than 500 yards from his apartment. Still no answers, right? We know there was some things that were brought up during this case, the Reddit, whatever that Reddit thing was, where some kind of hookup app or something that he had done previously before or something, and they think that may be, a lot of us speculated that may be. Gray Hughes did a thing on it, shout out to him for that. He broke it all down on how it works. I don't know how all that dark stuff works, but after he vanished, of course, that this person, whoever this person was, deleted deleted their page and all that stuff. And I don't know, I'm hoping that they were able to track some kind of data. I don't know if they could have. I know it was highly talked about. Randy and Becky, his mom and dad, have spoke out this morning. They want answers. They still need answers. They're turning to their faith for answers. We know they're big Christian people with big hearts. And I don't blame them. They need answers. Caleb Harris was a 21-year-old going to Texas A&M University there in Corpus Christi. He was from New Braunfels, Texas. There was a lot of people search for this young man. We did too a few times. One of the ones that the owner of that San Antonio, Texas Search and Rescue, Nina Glass, she passed away in January from the flu. She was a big part of the searching going on down there. There was a lot of searchers. A lot of people jumped on that case because it was such a mystery. And it's still a mystery today. That foggy morning, it's still a mystery. They had just got that dog that day. I hope y'all can hear me in this wind. It's battling. That fog was so bad. And when you're on the water like that and it's hot during the day and then it gets cooler and then gets foggy. It was so foggy you could barely even see street lights. And I don't know. We don't know if he accidentally walked across that cornfield and fell in that open manhole, or if someone put him there. We don't know that. And for these parents to have gone 8 months since he was found, 1 year in total, to no answers still, and they're still asking for help and answers, right? The only one thing that was really out there was that Reddit thing. And that hookup app or whatever it's called. And that person since, I think, deleted it right after he vanished. And so evidently there's no way to trace that or something, which I don't understand how. You should be able to trace any kind of digital footprint. Or maybe they did track it down and it was nothing. I don't know. We know he had ordered Uber Eats earlier in the morning. And sometime before, after midnight, whatever, maybe before midnight, we don't know. I don't know exact time that he ordered Uber Eats, but we know he ordered Uber Eats. It came to the door with some apple pies, some Red Bulls for the next day fishing after class. And, spring break fixing to start. They had a fishing trip planned and they were all going to New Braunfels, I think, to go fishing with family and stuff. And, he had a thing planned that summer to go to Alaska and some other things. And we all know that his grades weren't that great, but that's okay. He's a college kid. It happens. And just everything that surrounded this case, and to get no answers, and to know, I just want to know, do they have anything or do they have nothing? I mean, the phone pings, the things like that. Remember, there were some phone pings that were put out that I think were false leads or something like that. And we just don't know. He went missing on March 4th, which is also my mother's birthday. And she turned 78 today. and she wants to go to Texas Roadhouse to eat dinner. Of course, Sebastian Rogers, one of his favorite places to eat too, right? And I think everybody likes Texas Roadhouse. It's that cinnamon butter stuff for your biscuit. That's what everybody, I think, loves so much there. You know, in this case, Caleb Harris, you know, what was it foul play? Or was it just a freak accident? You know, we've seen a lot, you know, since this case of people ended up in manholes that fell, right? Some of them were on camera. You know, I don't know necessarily that this happened, because the only one that I think that they had found that was uncovered, with that TikToker found, was in that cornfield about 500 yards from his apartment. So being barefooted, I don't think he'd have walked across the cornfield, but it's possible, I guess. I mean, if he was going to Oso Bay Hiking Trail like they had discussed on that Reddit page or whatever it was, the place to meet up, you know, did he make it that far? Did an accident happen before then? Did he make it? I mean, if he made it, did his phone ping in that area? You know, I'm sure they got to keep things close. We get that. But I've always wondered, you know, but then you have to stop and think. The parents are asking, they're putting their faith in God that they're going to get answers 1 year later today. And still nothing. You know, he was found, 8 months ago, give or take. Yeah, I think it was June 24th he was found in that pumping station. And they still have nothing. You know, I don't think the cell phone was ever recovered. So the cell phone's got to be somewhere. I don't know. It just makes me try to think, you know, was it foul play? Was it not? We know it was so bad, Foggy, that, you know, I always thought, well, what could he have been walking and somebody leaving a club or a bar hit him on accident? And, you know, anything could happen. And which is what I've always thought may have happened to Harley Morris. But, you know, out of Tyler, Texas, I thought maybe he was hit by a vehicle that early morning, around 3 or so that morning maybe, and they covered it up. It could have happened in this case too. But we all go back to that Reddit app thing because it's the only thing we really had. And there's so many other possibilities with it being foggy like that, he was walking. But the thing was, every time he had gone out, it was with the dog until that last time. So that's what makes us think, I think, that he was going to meet someone because he didn't take the dog. So I just hope that they have something. I hope that law enforcement has something they're holding on to. It doesn't look like it, but I pray they do, right? Justice needs to be done. We don't know nothing yet, and it has been a year, right? I mean, it hasn't been a total year since he was discovered. It's only been 8 months, but since he went missing on March 4th, 2024, it's been a year. And it was, 3-something or roughly in the morning, I think. You know, we did some searches down there. A lot of other people searched, and nothing. No answers were for, God, that wind is so bad. I hope y'all can hear me. I wanted to come on and give my condolences to the family again. And I pray that they get answers. I do. You know, Randy and Becky and family deserve answers. You know, grandma, siblings, they all deserve answers. And, you know, it seems like once these cases, the cases get so much hype, and then once they're found, it all goes away. And when you don't get answers, we shouldn't let it go away. And this is why I did a video on it recently, about a month or so ago, I did a video on it. I feel like if we could keep it out there, maybe it'll put a little pressure, right? I don't know, my little channel probably doesn't put much pressure, but anything helps. Any awareness helps, right? So I hope and pray that answers will come in this case, just like in every case that seems to be forgotten about. You know, I feel Caleb Harris' family needs answers, and I pray they get them. I do. So, you know, today being the 1 year anniversary of when he vanished, it's heartbreaking to think that there's nothing out there, right? And at least that we know of, there's nothing out there. But, allegedly, in my opinion, I've always thought he met someone, most likely. But then again, I know there's no proof of that. But, he didn't take the dog. So hopefully, pray to God. I wanted to come on, spread a little awareness, throw it back out there, say some prayers, my condolences to the family again, and just praying that something comes of this. And I hope they have some kind of digital trail on whoever this person was, that hookup thing or whatever it was. Like I said, Gray Hughes put something out about it, and he did a really good job of breaking down how it worked and showed the Oso Bay hiking trail and how close everything was to his apartment. But never understood is if he had a vehicle. But you know what? If he had been drinking, he wouldn't have drove. And that's something that I thought about too. But, it's just heartbreaking. This college student, his whole life ahead of him, right? It goes along the lines of all these young ones that, tragic things happen to. Gabby Petito, all of them. At least we knew what happened to Gabby Petito. We don't know what happened here. And it was right after the Sebastian Rogers went missing, Caleb Harris went missing. During Riley Strand. It was all such a big thing that I think Caleb kind of got pushed a little to the side because of Riley Strand and Sebastian Rogers. But, it's never too late to bring awareness. So I say, I wanted to share his face. His life was cut short somehow, some way, either by accident or not by his choice. And if foul play was involved, I pray to God law enforcement knows something and they were able to find some kind of digital footprint on whoever that Reddit person was. I think he had done that before with Reddit, maybe. I think he had a page there and maybe he had done these hookups before. I don't know for a fact. But if he had, was it the same person? Is there a way to trace this? Did he switch it over to TikTok or something else to communicate? And there is a digital trail somewhere that just haven't found it yet. I don't know. But I pray that there's answers, for the family. They need some kind of answer, some kind of closure. So I just wanted to say that today, bring awareness. It's been 1 year since he was reported missing. He was found 4 months later in a pumping station, 500 yards from his apartment there in Corpus Christi, Texas. He was a student at Texas A&M University there in Corpus Christi, Texas. He vanished sometime around 3 a.m. or a little after, I think, is what they kind of came to the conclusion of, on a really, 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 really foggy, that's what they stated over and over. Seeing some of those pictures, the fog, you couldn't even really see those street lights it looked like in some of those photos. So, that could have played a role. I don't know, but his life was just cut way too short. So hope and pray that they get answers. Anyway, justice for Caleb Harris, I pray comes soon. I hope they get some answers, no matter what they may be. Y'all guys have a wonderful day. Allegedly, these are my opinions and theories. Remember, this is just my free speech, allegedly. And y'all's comments, y'all's alone, not to reflect the channel. We do our research together because we are a big-hearted family. Even though we're getting blasted by hurricane force winds here, trigger warning times 100 million. Justice for all in need, guys. Let's keep awareness alive. All right, guys. Prayers always for all the missing, all the runaways. They run for a reason. Keep up the fight, guys. We'll talk soon. Y'all be good, be safe. We love y'all, guys. All right, bye.